Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission to order. First order of business is approval of the minutes of our last meeting. Everybody had a chance to read?
I approve.
And got a motion? Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Got a motion
I second.
and a second? Any discussion? Any objection to approving the minutes? Minutes approved as read. Okay, we're going to move right along to Guy with the Parks report.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. It's been a very busy month for us. A little bit of building maintenance work. Painted the concession stand doors and the restrooms doors at the Penn Meadows Park. Maintain equipment. Had to use equipment. You have to maintain it. So we did a little bit of that. Our sports field maintenance team, they continue to do weekly and daily, basically daily field maintenance. Fall soccer has begun, so we made preparations for that. Basically make sure it's mowed and everything's striped out, painted, lines are painted. Mowing and trimming has been kind of a beast because of all the moisture we've had, and that and all our seasonal help is pretty much all gone now. So we had 14. I think we're down to maybe 2 or 3 now that are here just maybe a day or two a week. So, so we had to make some adjustments and prioritizing and getting over things. Landscape crew has also been very busy. All the landscape that you see in the medians, on the streetscapes, around building stuff, we have to make sure that keep all the weeds out of those this time of year. Forestry crew, they've been still removing a lot of dead, declining trees. There's a few ash trees left out there we need to get down. Other than that, the big brush pile that we have down at the maintenance facility, the contractor finally made it here and ground that up for us, so it took them a couple days to get through all that pile. We actually haven't ground since Duratio, so that's basically 4 years since we've ground. So actually pretty well. I think some of the reason why we didn't have a lot of debris is probably because of Duratio. We haven't had a lot of stuff since then that's come down. The Fox Run Trail Improvements Project is nearing completion. The playground is in. Unfortunately, we can't open it up because the surfacing, we're putting a pour-in-place rubber surfacing underneath of it. And what I've been told is there's a shortage of that particular rubber, so from the manufacturer. So we're waiting on that. I hope they get word sometime this week that they may be coming in. I'm hoping. But yeah, there's a kind of a shortage. So along with that, Penn Meadows Park, the Parks Department, we dug out all the wood chips out of the playground up there. I think that playground was back in 2011, maybe when we installed it. So it's had chips in there since 2011. So it took a while to dig all that out. We had to put ADS tile underneath of it and then compacted rock. So that took a little bit of time prior to them, but they were in and put the rubber around the by the 12-year-old playground, but the little tot lot right next door to it was still fenced off due to the fact that it does not have the rubber surface in yet. So we're same scenario out there. Fox Run Trail has been, we graded that and they're in the process of seeding that today. So hopefully we get some timely rains and get some seed to grow out there.
Any type of grand opening or anything when that's all done out there?
Yeah. Nick from Communications, we talked about that, so I kind of want it to be done before we schedule something. So I told him once we get near, and I know I see.
He just wants a party.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it really turned out nice. I don't know if any of you have been out that way. I see a lot of people walking it already. So
I drove past. I didn't get a chance to get close, but I thought it was done. Having driven past, it looked like it's in really good shape.
Yep, it's gonna be a nice amenity. Since the last meeting, there's a new outdoor basketball court that got installed.
Yeah.
That went really smooth. It's in Penn Meadows Park where the old playground used to be. Yeah, that we basically contractors here and had it done in less than a week. the Parks Department, we backfilled around it and graded, seeded that. We installed the hoops, really nice hoops. Got to really go up there and take a look at it. Installed some benches, so it's ready to be used.
Random question for that. Is that a flat surface? Is it graded?
It has a slight slope.
Thinking like ice rink. Is it too small for that? You know, the ice rink.
Yeah. We
Graded on
already
those
talked-
tennis courts.
Yeah, we already talked about ice rink, but no lights. And when it's not frozen, I have no way to really secure it like we would on the tennis court.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. As of right now, we're not going to do it unless we get a little bit of pushback on it. But I know they take, I think, it might be Shields or someone always does a good donation to make that happen. And I think they weren't going to push them this year on that donation.
Gotcha.
So we're basically waiting. Our thought was to wait until the pavilions, phase 2 of the Centennial Event Center would go in. That would go underneath that.
Oh, so not having it anywhere this coming winter.
Yeah.
Doing it. Gotcha.
Yep. It's like, I don't know. It's failed the last probably 3 years in a row.
So do we even get to use
Get
it?
maybe
Yeah.
a day or a
Yeah.
week use out of it. It's just been too warm.
Now, you know what's going to happen because you
Yeah.
said
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
we're going to have the winter. that number
3 months
of-
of frozen tundra.
Yeah.
So you get out there and you get started on that ice rink.
Yeah.
Well, if it's that bad, all the ponds will be frozen.
Going back to the Penn Meadows Park playground, the splash pad, we ripped up all the surfacing on that and had a new surface installed in that also. And while we were doing that, we added another 3-foot ring around the parameter of the splash pad. So the seating stone that we have around it, we pulled out maybe eight stone, and we pushed them out further, so they are further apart. So we thought that would keep the kids from jumping from stone to stone because they're approximately 4 feet apart now. So
You just made it harder now.
yeah, it made it harder. Yeah, exactly. But they are further away from the actual splash pad. And I think looks pretty decent that way.
Yeah, looks
now.
good.
Looks great in the pictures.
Yep. We repaired, which we've already talked with a couple on this. We repaired the one of the rock climbing boulders at Centennial Park. We suspect that was vandalism because it's inch concrete and there's a hole on the top of one of the rocks. So obviously they took something hard and chipped away at it and got down into the foam that's underlying foam. So we had to fill, and they picked a lot of the foam out. So we had to fill the gap in with more foam, and then we put a 2-part concrete mix on top. So that was our fix on that one. So hopefully it holds. And of course, I continue to with Shive Hattery meetings. I forgot to talk about the tuck pointing project. That they were able to come in at the rec center. They had a project fall through, so they were able to come a month early. So we're currently in the process of tuck pointing and getting ready for paint at the rec center. If you have any other questions, I'll be more than happy to help or to answer.
So the splash pad is closed already, right?
No, it's
Oh.
open.
Oh, okay.
We're going to keep it open like we do in like past years. We'll keep it open as long as we can. When the weather starts getting cold,
Okay.
we'll winterize at the same time that we winterize the rest of the buildings.
Sounds good.
So it doesn't take much to winterize it. So
Anything else for Guy? Been very busy, and yes, we all know everything's nice and green, but that also meant a lot more,
Yeah.
a lot more mowing and caretaking, so.
Landscaping looks awesome as always. Roundabouts look always great. So
I have
team
to
always did a great
give all
job
the
with
credit
that.
to our 2 landscaping crews.
How'd that repair come at Front Street and
Front
Penn
Street?
Street roundabout had that car accident?
Yeah, they fixed it. Yeah, they
Did you have the chemical issue you were worried about with the gasoline? or
Yeah, I
fuels
don't-
that leaked in.
Yeah, I don't think he hasn't said anything about that. So I know the plant was kind of toasted, but we'll see how that bounced back. But they were able to pull the stone back, no problem. So
Good.
and fix the landscaping.
Thanks. All right, thanks, Guy.
Yep, you're welcome.
We'll move right along. Shelley, for the
Good evening.
center report.
Yeah. August is usually what's busy for us is registration for fall programming. So at the beginning of August is when we start that process, and that is for all the programs offered September through December. You can see definitely in the revenue report the bigger items where that revenue did come in. As usual, classes, programs, and weight fees continue to be pretty good. August is the last month for the outdoor pool, so you can see revenues for the daily fees there continue to roll in for the daily use. And then, of course, the swim lessons, most of that was the registration for the sessions that start up this fall. So that's what keeps us busy in August. A lot of times in August, too, is when, including staff, a lot of vacations, work around different things. Some take vacations before kids go back to school, and some take it the week of school to get them back on track and stuff like that. So usually by when school starts, we kind of have a little bit of I would say 1 or 2 weeks of slow period, if we had a slow period, I guess I would call it those 2 weeks. And like Guy mentioned, work did begin on the tuck pointing, and the exterior painting will follow once that's done. And then we also had a all community center training on Friday, August 30th that we took part in, and that included not only the rec pool, library, all together had that training for that day. So that was a good team effort there. Let's see, what else? Continue to get a lot with that registration. You can see our database numbers there, how many people we have in our database. So with every registration period, we seem to continue to increase as that comes on and new residents come to town, or even non-residents, if they catch wind of what we have going on and something catches their eye, then they register for what we have going on. As Guy mentioned, during the month of August, we had fall outdoor soccer. We had 123 participants in that. Supreme Flag football starts up, and that had 145 participants, and Supreme volleyball had 147. So again, August is the start of our fall youth programs, which are usually our highest numbers, as you can see there. Under Recsters, I did note summer camp and Rec Ramblers concluded for the summer, and then I gave the numbers there for AM and PM before and after school program. So we have about 70 kids total partake in that program. Let's see. Anything else in particular? We did offer the Colonels tickets again this year. It was a little less than normal. I think right around 100 might have been the number of tickets that the Colonels went out and got sponsorship for and were offered free to the residents. And then once we hear back from the Colonels, then we usually, starting like on a Monday or something, say, okay, at this time, you can stop by the community center and pick those up. First come, first serve until they're gone. So, also this month, the city put on their first ever street dance. I unfortunately was not able to make it, but I hear it was a great turnout, and a lot of people had a great time with that street dance. So I'm sure that might come around again. Let's see.
How was the cleanup on that? Was it,
Street dance?
yeah,
Pretty easy.
pretty easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have to give credit to the streets department. They're the ones that kind of spearheaded a lot of this one because it's on the street. So we kind of backed out because we normally support all the events, but we let them have one.
Guys wondering how to put blues and barbecue on the streets.
Yeah, exactly.
When's the big event? I think, and isn't there a movie? Is there a movie tomorrow night, or when's that?
That is
down here.
coming up.
It's tomorrow night, I think.
They're having that here at City
I
Hall.
previously saw it's like a library on the library.
Let me see
Yeah.
here. I had it
Front of
on my
City Hall.
Here's
thing.
gonna be,
Yeah,
I think it was-
initially
it's gonna be the
forgot about
13th.
that.
Like
And
September.
later I saw it's in
sound
front of
right?
City Hall.
Right.
I was like,
The
oh, that's
13th of
nice.
September, I
There's
think.
Friday the
Coming up.
13th this month, so probably next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's not tomorrow night? It's,
Is it?
it's next week?
I think it's
The
Oh, it's okay.
Inside Out movie on the plaza. I was thinking the 13th, but I could be totally wrong.
7:30 p.m. 13th.
13th?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
people to enjoy that. Come down. One question, Shelley, I guess what went through my mind, any color change with the painting of the rec center? We're going to see a color change, or is it just freshened up?
A little bit. We're going to go basically two colors. You'll see on the north side of the building and west side, we currently have two colors now. There's like a strip at the top, and then you have a top and a bottom, which is the same color. Maybe a tad darker, a little bit, not drastic enough. I think it'll look the same.
No,
But
it's
it
nice
is
and
just a
fresh.
tad
Yeah.
darker. And then at the top is a lighter band. And then right now it has kind of those odd geographical dark blocks, I guess you would call it. We're just going to go with a solid color across the top. So that's basically the only difference.
Look nice and fresh.
Yes, definitely.
And I think, did we have very many capacity pool days when they had to, had capacity? Did they have to turn people away very much or anything?
Yeah, we have. I know of a few. I don't know if I have an exact number. I can get that from Ashley.
we did
I
have
know
some
of a
days.
few, just because we went to that capacity due
Really
to
hot days, yeah.
yeah, real hot days, and then just due to the clarity issues that we wanted to really
Right.
maintain that so we could stay open the entire time. So, but I do know for sure, I'd say at least a handful for sure dates, but I can get that from Ashley and report back.
Oh, that's just, just wondered how, I think, in talking about future or whatever, what the needs are, it's always, how many swimming pools does
Yeah.
community need, Yeah, but if we're,
Well, I especially wonder, starting next summer with Iowa City Park pool being closed,
Closed.
we're going to
Yeah.
see an uptick in people up here.
Well, I was just wondering how you
didn't think
felt
about
the whole price change went, like going to that flat rate, and then also having the free community swim, and so that's like just any feedback on that. And if you've already talked about that, I know I missed the last couple meetings, but just any feedback from those would be great.
As far as the difference in pricing, I was surprised that we didn't hear more. I didn't have to confront really anyone coming to my office about it. Talking with front desk just the other day, they also were surprised that they didn't get much
Good.
poor results, I guess, from that. What was surprising to me was the amount of people that still paid the daily fee versus
Just
the
doing
memberships.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just people's choice, and it's up to them. If they want to pay the daily fee, they will, and if not, then we did have a little of an uptake, but not as drastic as what I thought that would be pushed more towards the memberships.
And I think it's great having the twilight and then the late night swim to offer that, as we talked about, that lower cost. If that was a barrier, here you go. We have options, and I think that's awesome.
Yep. And
How did those go? Was there a decent amount of people those? Do you know on those days?
decent. Again, it all depends on weather. Depends
right?
on
What else is going on that week?
Yep.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I know even with the pools, but also with the gymnasiums, when we offer the free opportunities. I mean, it is nice to have both, so then they don't need to get a membership or pay that daily fee. So, again, once the weather turns, I think we'll see the uptick back in the gyms and stuff as well.
Well, good to hear. That's good to hear that it wasn't.
Talking about the membership fees, I saw a guy wearing the North City T-shirt, and I got a good a wild idea just coming out from my mind. If you want to encourage membership, I would suggest you give out a free, like a T-shirt that has North Liberty or maybe North Liberty Rec Center or something on it, like for free. Either just to encourage the current membership based on the current price, or in the future, if you want to increase the membership, then people think, free T-shirt, then that might be more encouraging,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wonder, Shelley, when we talked about the daily membership fee increase a few months back, there was also some conversation around revisiting the membership structure and fees. Just curious if there's a timeline on that conversation.
No, not at this point. I would say, if anything, we'd wait till either like the first of the year or wait again then for like May 1st. Like within each cycle of each brochure is kind of to allow
It'd be
first the
interesting.
information to get out and then to start.
Yeah, I just wonder if it'd be interesting to have that in place prior to next summer. I'm just thinking pool specific because of City Park pool going away, right? I would think that North Liberty and Coralville will probably see an uptick in people branching out to find new
Other
pools. So having
opportunities.
that in place, May 1st is obviously plenty of time, but having those conversations in place and trying to figure a way to capture that audience.
And there was an article in the paper about Coralville's pool. They've got a big push to build a new one.
Yeah, they're looking to build an ad.
Yeah.
Tiffin also is looking for community center.
Upgrade their
things,
rec.
but we are, the community has probably doubled since the rec center and pool was built, hasn't it? At least.
Yeah.
At least doubled. And when you look at the numbers of kids, when you've got this many and this and that,
Yeah.
and school age and preschool, it's
Got room for a pool at Centennial there? Okay.
Splash pad.
Yeah.
Splash pad.
splash pad. That's-
Splash pad is planned.
Keep encouraging, stage one. There are other stages planned for Centennial that will really enhance
Yep.
the park experience out there. And of course, people can still contribute.
Yes.
Staffing the facility is also, when you look to that, when is the right time? Staffing is also a concern as far as would we have enough lifeguards
Right.
Right.
for another pool?
Right.
And so there's a lot of factors that go into it.
There is.
I think that's, one of the main pushes, with the splash pad is to try and, again, you don't need to staff those types of facilities. So is that the way to go? Until, it helps in the meantime, but then, when is that next time? Do we need another pool facility, and can we afford, and do we have staff to staff those facilities? Is going to be the two major questions I can see.
I know a community a little further south from here, but they went to 10 to noon swim time.
Yeah.
And then opened back up at 1, then 1
I
to
I
later.
have heard that, some places have had to limit their hours just because of staffing factors, so.
All for a variety of times or whatever, for different things. But we know our staff's always creative, and it is the fall and winter coming up, and so I know some of it's contingent upon how some of your people come up. Like I know you lost one of your major, she did boot camp and all that type of thing. There's somebody replacing those. You've got other
Yep.
people coming forward too.
We have a few new contract employees. That's how we're trying to fill some of our empty spots as contract employees. That's usually their second job. So when that changes and we have some of our regulars either change in job or schedule that changes some of our ongoing programming, that's the first thing we do is try and advertise that out. And I've gotten actually a couple of requests for some more yoga classes that are hopefully going to come online here soon. And we try to do a big push with the fall brochure, and we'll just continue to, as they say, hey, we're interested in offering this certain program, we usually just look, and if we have the room availability, we'll start it up and see how it goes as far as popularity. If it's not popular, then we might change the day, might change the time, but we always try and make adjustments and to see how to push it forward. So.
And we don't do a lot of plugging the 55-plus activities that you have down there.
Yep.
And I think most aware there's a Monday morning quarterback type or sports type.
Club
gathering.
24. Zach started that last fall. Started slow. We're hoping just with another year that we'll continue to get more and more people. But basically, it's just talking about. Mainly, it started last fall during football season. Zach is in charge of that, and he runs through and replays the game and talks about the game and stats and players and all that fun stuff. And then sometimes he does get guest speakers in to talk to the group too. So he'll continue to work on that, and hopefully it just continues to grow.
And the lunch, and then I think us, like the room where they have lunch, I see people staying after. Is that they just kind of get their own card games together and that type of thing?
We used to just let them do whatever activity afterwards. We did start, and we started with that group since we had a captive audience, I guess you'd call it. We started a euchre club every Friday after the lunch in that afternoon period that they can stay and play euchre. And we've had a few that just come for euchre after the lunch and don't come for lunch. And then the majority are, again, from the luncheon, and then we'll fill in from there.
Cool.
Quality of life for all ages and stages in this community. That's what
Definitely.
we're looking for.
Love it.
Fun for all.
Yeah.
I would like to give a big thumbs up for the senior lunch. I took my parents 2 weeks ago, and I think I saw Shirley serving the food. They're really happy about it. And,
Good.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else for Shelley?
One question, if you don't mind. I have a question about the family membership. So family membership covers 2 adults and 2 kids, right?
Basically, we've gone to basically the household. Within that household, whoever lives in that household, they can be part of that family
Okay,
membership.
so my case is my husband never goes rec center, and he doesn't even have a card. And my mom, my parents are visiting me like this summer for entire summer, and she goes swimming like so frequently and swiping my card. So just want to double check if she can have a card like under. Okay, cool. So yeah, she's leaving in 2 weeks, so I guess I can save a few bucks.
Anything else? Only question I remember having anybody, are any Herkies coming back to North Liberty?
Already back.
Where are they?
It's at, just one. It's at the Old Town Gazebo.
Yeah. Okay.
There used to be.
Only one?
Yeah, we only got one.
The one that was
the
inside the
city
rec
got.
center, the one inside the rec center is actually out at Heartland.
Heartland.
Heartland was the sponsor of that one, so that one moved out to Heartland.
Yeah.
But
they-
stayed in North Liberty, but just not.
I know
City.
there's a private one. I think there's a restaurant or two have a private
Yeah.
one. but
Pizza
that's
Ranch
one
got
about the
one.
city.
We took a
Got the
concrete
city. Yeah.
block out there for them.
Yeah.
People, so when
It's
where the blocks belong to the city that at the park.
Yeah.
So they're
We-
there.
we
So if
kept
we have them, we can get them again. That's what people were trying to decide. If
Well,
they saw a
they-
block, they thought a Herky was coming back.
Yeah. No, they probably just didn't get the concrete basement yet. We moved ours the day after. So they were gone.
Yeah. That's
And we go down to the Fry Fest and see all the Herkies that were on display down there.
That was cool.
that was amazing.
That was really
yeah.
neat.
Yeah. Oh, that's really neat. Really neat. Anything else? Well, our next meeting is scheduled for October the 3rd. Boy, fall is fast upon us, so I'll entertain the motion.
A motion that we, oh, go ahead.
Beat ya. So moved.
I'll second.
oh, there you go.
Motion and second, any
There you go.
objection to adjournment?
Oh, I forgot.
Meeting adjourned.
I didn't bring